Your goal in business writing often requires you to persuade the reader to take action. Persuasion is the final core competency of business writing. A message must be professional, clear, concise, and evidence-driven to be persuasive. Bridget Ciel writes persuasive messages as an account manager for C.H. Robinson. When writing requests for proposals, she uses evidence and clear organization to persuade the reader that her company is the best fit for their transportation needs. When working with clients at SMG, a customer experience research company, Hannah provides project updates to maintain a positive relationship with the client. Despite any delays, Hannah needs to persuade the client that they are working quickly and are still the best firm for their survey research. This lecture covers 3 strategies to write a persuasive message. By converting topics to persuasive points, you can increase the power of your words and to direct the reader towards specific actions. This informative example uses headings that list the topic for each section. Just by reading the headings, history, staff, and sales, you don't know the benefits of the marketing firm. The persuasive example uses a preview to show the reader the benefits right away. Each heading is a persuasive point, a reason the reader should select their firm. The National Restaurant Industry Report makes claims or persuasive points about the age of restaurant workers in bold and red text here. Each claim is supported by evidence. This Pew Research report on workplace trends shows the persuasive point of each section in a bold heading. The reader can quickly see key findings from their research just by reading the headings. Then, in each section, the author uses multiple pieces of evidence to support each claim. When including a visual element, explain how this links to your persuasive points. This Pew Research report about where Americans find news on social media uses a heading to show the key point shared in each visual. As the writer, you need to interpret the evidence and connect this to your argument. You'll practice this skill of creating persuasive points and using headings to quickly convey these in your business classes at KU. This International Finance memo uses headings to show the key point of each section. In Business 305, you will write headings to highlight key ideas. In the report, you will write persuasive headings that show the strengths of each nonprofit. Adapt your organizational structure to persuade your audience to take action. There is not just one organizational pattern that will work for all persuasive messages. Analyze your reader and goals, then organize your information to best fit the situation. It often helps to give your reader the reasons they should support your idea or decision right away. Sharing your key ideas at the start of the message can convince them to read the entire document. The SS&C report on the Lawrence Community Shelter provides a summary of the 4 recommendations on the first 2 pages of the report, then moves to their research methods, financial analysis, and implementation plans. The headings here show the organizational structure of a business plan for a new product to remove sulfites from wine. The problem and solution are shared right away so the reader knows the business concept. Then, each section of the business plan covers the different aspects: market research, financial analysis, customer focus groups, to persuade the reader they've created a product worth investing in. Notice the use of persuasive points. Specific headings show the key idea of each section. These example outlines show several ways to structure an argument to persuade your reader to take action. These are just a few examples. Adapt your organizational structure to the situation. The goals and structure of persuasive messages change based on your job, organization, and industry. In marketing, the AIDA organizational strategy is often used to persuade your audience. First, grab the reader's attention by explaining how the information is relevant and timely. Introduce the problem that you can help solve. Then, build their interest using evidence. Explain the benefits of your solution. Next, show how the solution or product relates to them. Address objections to remove any barriers to action. Finally, encourage the reader to take action. Make the next steps clear so the reader can begin to work with your company. This KPMG research memo uses a different organizational structure to achieve their goals. The writer wants to persuade the reader that they've made correct conclusions based on the relevant facts and authorities. These are just two examples of strategies used to persuade readers. Careful planning is necessary to create a persuasive message. As you analyze the situation, consider your relational goal. Do you have authority in the situation? Is your reader required to act on your recommendations? The best organizational structure depends on your relational goal, your connection and level of authority with the reader. The power, relationship, and rational connection is one way to help you analyze the best organizational structure to use. In a power connection, you declare what you want and tell your reader to comply. This is the do it because I said so approach and is typically used by authority figures. This approach can alienate people because we often don't like being told what to do. This connection only works if you have the authority to enforce the decision. When using the relationship connection, you create a bond with your reader. You want your reader to identify with you and convey the idea that we are all in this together. For the relationship connection to work, you need to respect the person who is asking. The reader's perception of the sender is a key factor in whether the persuasive message will work. We are more open to being persuaded by people we already like and trust. In the rational connection, you appeal to reason. This is the do it because it makes sense approach. Here, you rely on evidence to convince your reader that your solution is best for everyone. Consider which approach is best to use based on your goals and the relationship you have with your reader. Your persuasive message may include appeals to several of these connections in a single document. Each persuasive point needs to be supported by evidence. As the writer, make connections between evidence from multiple sources and show the reader how this supports your claims. Specific and well-cited evidence is more persuasive than abstractions. The strategic use of evidence is central to your ability to persuade the reader. This table shows how to improve your writing by including evidence. This helps you achieve your goal by convincing the reader to act. Connecting evidence from multiple sources to support your persuasive points is an effective strategy. The PwC Global CEO Survey report brings together evidence from 4 sources to support their claims about the need to upskill the current workforce. In the Walmart annual report, the company shares their financial and operational accomplishments in each sentence of these concise paragraphs. The paragraphs do not contain any unnecessary sentences that just repeat vague information. As the writer, find evidence from multiple sources and use this in combination to persuade the reader. You'll practice this skill in your Business 305 assignments. Each assignment requires you to use multiple sources and combine this to support your points. This business law assignment requires you to find 3 sources with differing perspectives on the case. When explaining evidence to the reader, consider their level of expertise and knowledge on the topic. If the reader is confused or not clear what the evidence means, it's difficult to achieve your goal. Using tangible statements is an effective strategy to show how information relates to your reader. Instead of telling them in general how people benefit, explain the specific benefits to your reader. This table shows how to adapt your message to describe tangible benefits. Using visual elements is another way to explain the context and connect evidence. This chart provides additional evidence that the reader needs to understand the change over time. Here, evidence is shared in each sentence, and a visual is used so the reader can quickly compare the statistics from each year. Using clear, persuasive points, strategically structuring your argument, and connecting multiple sources of high-quality evidence to each point will help you to achieve your goals.